Hey guys, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Also, hit that bell to be notified for future videos. Hey, what is up, guys? Welcome back to the Fish Tank. I am Cole, and today we are finally posting our Diecast International Builders Jeep It Up Invitational build. Guys, I do apologize for not getting my video out completely on time. I'll be completely honest, March 5th kind of came and it kind of went. During the time of the video release that everyone else did, also have to say everyone else's videos and builds were fantastic. But like I was saying, when the videos was supposed to be due, I was on spring break, so I was on like complete off mode, and I wanted to come on here right before we started our little video here and apologize to you guys because that's unfair to you and it's unfair to everybody else. So, to be honest, the only people that really saw the Jeep were the people that follow me over on Instagram, and that is unfair because I know some of you don't use Instagram, so I wanted to put this out here now. So, that's what I'm doing. So, guys, I hope you sit back and you enjoy. Let's jump into it. Hey guys, so this is our Jeep that we're going to use for the Jeep It Up Invitational. So it's an old Matchbox Willys Jeep that I found in my lovely collection of cars. It's massive now, thanks to everybody, which isn't a bad thing, but yeah, I found it and I was like, this would be perfect because a couple of months ago, it was during last summer when I started this build, believe it or not. This build went for like 6 months before I got invited back to the DIBS boys and was able to actually use this project. So it gave me the confidence to jump into it and build it. So, uh, like I was saying, the car that I based this project off of was one that I saw at a swap meet this past summer, and I thought it was the coolest thing in the world. The picture will probably pop up here momentarily, so when you see it, cool. But yeah, so that's the car that I wanted to base this project on, and I thought it was just the coolest looking thing in the world. So that's what we're gonna do today, and that's what we're gonna kind of base this project on. But like I said, this was a project that I started probably back in July, and then I put it on the back burner for a long time. And when I was invited to come back to the Dibs boys, I finished it, and this is what we got. So that's what we're gonna do today, and that's what we are going to finish. So, guys, I hope you liked the video. It's a little bit shorter, but let's jump into it. So, guys, before I get started, let me just say this video is going to be based off of pictures mainly, and it's pretty much just me talking. So, if that bores you or you're not really interested, you're more than welcome to skip this video and go on to a different one. But if you are interested, I would like to tell you the process of what we did to this Jeep. So, as you see here, the Jeep is stripped of that ugly blue color that it was in. And you can kind of see some work that was done on the sides and maybe the back if you look close enough. I can barely even see it looking at it right now. But pretty much what we did was we did our normal. We stripped it, we put it into the chum bucket, we cleaned it, and what I wanted to do was I wanted to remove the what do you call it? The safety boxes or the equipment boxes off the side of the military Jeep with the there's also these little like tabs if you go back to the beginning of the video and you see on the back and then on the rear quarter panels that were probably for like attaching things or like straps or something if it was actually a military vehicle, quote unquote, right? But we removed those with the grinder and we sanded them down as smooth as possible. But what happened was I kind of messed it up a little bit and dug a little too deep with the grinder because I didn't really use the right bit. But what we did was we just grabbed some of our filler. I just used putty, like model putty. I know it probably wasn't the best idea, but this was one of those builds, I'll be completely honest, that I kind of just went in and I was gonna do by myself. I really didn't plan on making a video on this build, but I'm glad I did because it was for a great reason, and it's great that I'm getting it out now. But at the time, it was just one of those builds I wanted to take a break from the YouTube. You know how I do it, guys. You know, I kind of just build on my own sometimes, and I don't really show everything, but that's besides the point. But yeah, so we got it down. We got it filled in with the filler. It was painted twice, believe it or not. So the first coat went around. It was primer, and then I didn't like that, so I stripped it, and we redid the bodywork again, and then we put it back in primer. We painted it turquoise, and then we moved on to the frame. So the frame is this creation I made out of tubing. And that's what you're going to start seeing here in the next couple of photos is what we did to the frame, which is pretty crazy because I easily could have just had it 3D printed. But anyways, let's get to the picture. So here's the front of our frame. So what I used was a lot of this spare tubing that I have sitting around. It's the metal tubing that you normally can just buy at your local Hobby Lobby. And the design I went off of for this was actually based off of full custom diecast bone shaker off-roading body. So I wanted to give him some credit. Bradley, I took your idea and put it into tube form. So it was very difficult, mind you, and it was a lot of nights where I would do a little, put it together, make sure it was somewhat level, and leave it alone for a couple days because it just frustrated me out the wazoo. And it was one of those things I was just like, I don't think I can finish this. I don't think I can do it. But I just let it sit. Like I said, I put this whole build on the back burner, and all these months later, it was during Christmas time when I got back to it. We put it back to we got back to it, and we started putting it together completely, and it was the most fun I've ever had. And it's one of those builds I haven't done in a while. So if you guys are new and you don't know, I used to do a lot of these type of builds where I'd build everything from what I had. I would I would take parts and pieces and just put cars together like how you would put a car together, you know. And I haven't done one of those in a while because I've been doing a lot of restorations, projects for clients and friends, and I just wanted to get back to it. So it was really nice to take the time to sit down and actually build a car how I like to build cars because I like to be different. I like to stand out. And it's one of those things that I just haven't been able to do in a while, and I kind of want to make more time for it because honestly, it's what makes the hobby fun, and it makes you stand out a little bit, or at least I feel like it makes me stand out a bit. But that's just me. So this is like I said, this is the front end. So what we did was we just put an axle that was long enough for the wheels that you see in your far right corner there. We're gonna use these like off-road wheels I got off of a McDonald's toy, which is very cool. I thought they looked like the Willys Jeep wheels that they put on the Jeeps back in the day. So I was like, this is kind of close to what the picture was at the beginning, and I thought it would just be cool to make it like a rat rod off-roader. Not many cars like that you see because typically, you know, a Jeep is an off-roader. It's not really a rat rod. So how can we mix both of these without overdoing it? And that's what we did today. So here's the base, the first go around, and sadly this is the only picture I really have of it. But we redid it a couple times. So what I did was I kind of cheated. So in the back, I kind of put I did put, I didn't kind of put it on. I did do that. I put a tube on the back where the interior was gonna sit, just so I knew where the interior was gonna sit flush with the car. And then we put this, it was the worst idea I think I've ever done on a custom. I put a this really janked and kind of bent piece of metal that I had, and I was like, "Oh, this is going to work. This is going to work perfect." But in the long run, it didn't because it was kind of flimsy. It was kind of bent, and honestly, it just didn't work with the car. Speaking of metal, if you guys see in the middle where the clip is holding, we did put a support piece because I thought it would make it look more like legit, quote unquote. And it actually did help the structure of it because it made it more solid and less, moving around for the front post, and not the front post, the front axle, and then yeah, just made it more of a solid piece. But anyways, when we're getting to the back, how what I did was I found a piece of styrene, so I went with styrene on the back. Sadly, you can't see it, but we went with a piece of styrene. It's flatter. It's easier to work with. I should have just did this on with styrene, but I wanted to be difficult, so that's why we used the metal pieces. But I found a piece of styrene. We measured it out to where I wanted it, and then we found a new rear tube that is a bit higher than the front one, so it makes the wheels uh, sit a bit um, more into the wheel wells on the outside of it, if that makes sense. And that's kind of the look I wanted to go with, kind of like that rat rod slash lowrider look, more of a rat rod, like you would see on like a 34 Ford. Just that the wheels are sticking out, and it's just cruising down the road. That roadster look. So this is the base we finally completed. Like I said, we got our idea off of full custom diecast, his bone shaker frame. So I thought that was pretty cool that we can kind of use his ideas and kind of transport them into this form for this build. So I thought it was different and creative. So after that was all done, we painted the whole thing with primer, and then we used a black. It was one of those grit paints, the ones that like marble onto metal and wood and stuff like that. I forget what they're called, but it was a Rust-Oleum's paint, and it made it look cool, and it also sealed everything. And the thing that I liked about that paint, it was or any paint when you paint like a custom base is I like when the glue uh, dries with the paint because it makes it look like it's a weld. It makes it look real. It makes it look cool. And I don't know, it's just one of those things that just adds to the effect, I guess. But after that, we finally move on to like the assembly process. So I didn't really have a picture of like the car or video of the car being in the assembly process, but I do have it somewhat laid out and mocked up for paint. So as you see here, we still have the frame. It's on the chassis, and the front wheels are going to be obviously not where they were intended to be. So that is extended, and you can see that we have custom axles because the axles that were in the wheels originally were way too short. So I had to jerry rig and create my own axles. So that's what we did there. And believe it or not, some of that tubing I had sitting around fit right in there because those holes were an awkward size, and we made it work. So that's cool. And then on your far right, we also have these exhausts I got off an old Johnny Lightning engine, and we're gonna stick those outside of the front fenders where the wheels would have been, just to mock like, oh, there's a big engine in there, which I thought about doing, but I just liked the smooth surface of the Jeep, and I didn't want to ruin it too much. So what we did instead was add a windshield that you will see at the end. So with that said and done, we painted the car a turquoise color. I wanted to do more to it, but I decided not to. We then detailed it and we completed it for the build. So guys, I hope I didn't bore you too much with this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and let's go see what we started with and what we ended with. So to recap everything that we did, so this is what we started with, guys. We started with this pretty bare bones Matchbox Willys Jeep, probably from the late 70s or early 80s. And what we did to it was really fun, honestly. This was one of those builds that I kind of just had the idea of doing after seeing that picture of that Jeep at that swap meet, and I frickin' ran with it. And guys, I'm ready to show you what we created. So let's go see it. Alright guys, so this is what we created. This is the Rat Rod Jeep, the off-road Jeep, whatever you want to call it. The Rat Rod off-road Jeep, like I said, whatever you want to call it. So this is it complete. It's pretty cool. Um, like I said in the video, what we did to it was a lot in the span of 6 months almost. It started in July and it was done, I think, the first week of January. So it's tables have turned on how long it took to do this project. Sometimes projects just they don't go your way right away, and you kind of have to put them down. I know I learned that from Keith over at Outlaw Speed Shop, and this is it, guys. So it's a pretty rat rod looking Jeep. So we pretty much just extended the axles. I extended the front end to make it look more like a 30 Ford. The interior is original. It has the tow hook. We have a spare wheel, and we have a windshield from, I think it's like a 64 Continental that we slapped on the front just for the effect, because I thought the original, we could have put it back on, but I decided to not, and we put this more modern looking one on instead. So guys, thank you for stopping by the video. Thank you for watching all of my videos. And thank you for watching the DIBS videos. Those are always fun. And I look forward to talking to you guys in the comments and seeing you in the next one. So thanks for stopping by, guys. Have a good one.